I'm a longtime veteran and fan of the Elmer Kelton conferences. I adore San Angelo. I came in the 90s, it may be even the late 80s, for years and years, when Fort Concho hosted a literary event, and then ASU revived it a few years after Fort Concho ceased the project. So I have a long and loving history with San Angelo. I submitted material, and not for the first time, as I said. So when I do this conference, it's always a happy homecoming for me. It is beautifully run. Professor Ellery, Professor Jack, all the people involved do such a great job. I love to hear my fellow writers, and in some cases my former colleagues. I love to hear them present, but I also like to hear new voices. I like to learn and grow from that. I think most writers, if they're really frank with you, will tell you that very few of them actually enjoy doing their own presentations. They enjoy finishing their presentations and then doing the rest of it. I have 4 books of poetry with a 5th one, New and Selected Poems, 2018, published by TCU Press. That will be coming out later this spring, perhaps in May. Working on a 6th collection and on several creative nonfiction pieces. Writing is kind of a continual process. You never really reach the end of it. You're always either writing or you're revising or you're thinking about writing or you're doing something. It's an ongoing life work. Read and then read. When you get through with that, read some more. Former National Poet Laureate Ted Kooser, who is a magnificent poet, oh, we should all write at the level he does. He says that for every poem you write, you should read 100. And the other little piece of advice that he gives is, when young aspiring poets, knowing what he has achieved, knowing his title, when they come to him and say, well, what other advice would you give, since reading maybe didn't sound like the greatest advice? Then he says, show up for work every day. And I think most writers, really, they attempt, maybe they fail, but they attempt, I do, to write every single day of my life. Some days, of course, we don't live in a perfected world. That is not possible, but I think it should always be an aspiration. I think I'm going to try to explain it in a concise way. I think that the English language, all languages, but I think English in particular, it has the largest active vocabulary of any language on earth. It is a very difficult language to work with. Words are slippery, amorphous, ever-changing things. And so when I feel that I've constructed something that not only is coherent, that hangs together, but perhaps even has value for someone else reading, then it's a twofold pleasure. It's the pleasure maybe that a woodworker, my grandfather made furniture for 40 years. Part of it is the pleasure a woodworker might have in finishing a cabinet and seeing, yeah, it came out pretty good. But the twofold pleasure is the hope that something I wrote some way, somewhere, has value for someone else reading. So that's what it is. Hard work. It's hard work. Anyone who says, oh, I'm going to dash this off. A few of us are Mozart, but about 99.5% of us, if we're anything, we're Beethoven. We have to work and work and work, and we don't get everything we want early in life. It comes later.